In light of this, I just don't see the sense in releasing another video about the incredible opportunity you have during the 2022 to 2023 recession without also covering the specifics of how to take advantage of it. I'll thus outline the three-step structure in this video that you must put into practice over the course of the next 3 years in order to essentially prepare yourself for life. And I want to be very clear that this framework is not simple. Even generational wealth does not come easily in life. However, this framework is quite straightforward, and regrettably, when something is so straightforward, many people assume it cannot be the solution or the answer. Well, I've got some bad news for you. If you miss out on some of the subtleties and particulars, this three-step structure and this three-step approach won't work for you. Additionally, there are several specifics for which you must stay present. So get a cup of coffee, a piece of paper, and a like for this video before we get started. The first step is, and I can hardly believe I'm actually saying this, I need you to save more. Those of you who know me well are aware of my overall contempt for thrifty individuals. Oversavers are a stain for me. Those who say, hey, see, here's how I'm going to make $1 million. I'm going to be frugal, save money, and refrain from purchasing that $5 coffee. This is going to offend some people, but it's the truth, and it's just so absurd and nonsensical that truly the only individuals to whom it applies. It is intended for those who don't think they are deserving enough to earn more money. Therefore, if you are unable to increase your salary, your only alternative is to save money. If you manage to save and invest your way to $1 million over the course of 30 years while earning $35,000 per year, that is. Generally speaking, I think that those who try to save money on their $5 coffee or who feel that the additional $70 for greater legroom on a 7-hour journey is not worthwhile when traveling in an economy class. I typically think that these folks suffer from a mental ailment called scarcity, and if you have a scarcity attitude, it will permeate everything you do. You're essentially repelling money, so remember what I said about excessive saving, right? I just think it's for people who are lame, to be honest. I mean, I see some of these folks who make millions of dollars a year, and I'm like, what do you want to do? Like taking all that cash with you to the afterlife? Like, just spend the entire amount. You should never give it to your children, and you should never give it to your son either. People must go hunting, and men in particular. They must go to work. They must truly live up to their promises. Anyway, just a quick digression, you might be thinking, oh man, you're simply reckless after hearing all this. You waste your funds. In truth, I'm probably among the biggest investors or savers. I am a strong proponent of saving and investing in your 20s and 30s because, as you probably already know, I personally save and invest 80% of my income or save for the aim of investing in the future when prices are better. However, I support earning a lot of money so that you can invest and save without having to give up the kind of life you want. But I'll tell you why I'm actually kind of in favor of saving for the first time ever. The reason is that I'm currently focusing on things that will likely occur in the next year or two, as well as in various asset classes. You will be able to purchase items at a 50% discount. If you look at the cryptocurrency markets, you can see that they are presently 70% cheaper than they were 6 months ago. Although real estate prices are currently very high, I can assure you that in a year, things will be different. For example, if you look at the watch market again from 3 or 4 months ago, you'll see a 25, 30, and sometimes even 40% reduction from what it was, just a few months ago. Thus, 6 months ago, when I looked at the price of something, such as a good jacket from Laurel or Xenia, the price tag would have been $7,000. I now consider that to be $21,000 because I borrowed the same sum of money over the course of the following 5 to 8 years. The money will literally triple and most likely do so in a lot less time. Now, instead of seeing $30,000 on the price tag when I chart out a private jet, I see $90,000. Let's use you as an example to bring it back home. Normally, I would advise someone to spend their $150 monthly budget on Starbucks rather than trying to save money, fighting with family members, and doing other things like that because they should be able to earn more than $150 extra per month. They should also know that if they really put their minds to it, they could earn an additional few $100s per month. Now, however, if you spend $150 a month on Starbucks, it is more like $500 because if you dollar cost average that amount into various asset classes, whether it be stocks, cryptos, or saving up for the down payment on your first rental property, whatever the case may be, for once during this 2022 to 2023 recession, I can actually kind of see a use case for saving. For once I'm actually starting to look at things and go, it is actually probably good for you to have your saver cap on. So the first thing I don't want you to do during this recession over the next 2 years is to deal with lifestyle creep. It doesn't matter how much money you make, whether you made $30,000 a year or $300,000 a year, $3 million a year or $30 million a year, whatever it is. I don't want you to increase your spending as your income rises. When you reflect on this time period in the year 2027, you'll think, wow, this is the time when I bought assets at incredibly low prices, and you really set yourself up for the rest of your life. You can accomplish it in 4 to 5 years. With that said, lowering your living expenses is one of the finest strategies to really save more money. It might be very challenging to do that at times if you reside in New York, California, Paris, London, Amsterdam, or any other city. If you have the option to work remotely, whether it's because of your employment or because you choose to launch an online business, I suggest locations like Cape Town. I'm a little biased, of course. The living expenses are 1/10 of what they are here in Dubai, where I have a 12,000 square foot huge home. We have locations like Bali or Medellin. In essence, you can live extraordinarily well in these regions for a lot less money than you would in other major cities. As a result, as I previously stated, if you are location independent, you should look at moving to one of these locations for the next 2 to 3 years in order to reduce your living expenses, increase your income, and essentially invest the difference. Let's go on to step 2, which is to expand your earning potential in order to talk about how to make more money. If you currently hold a job, allow me to explain how you can raise your earning potential. I'll tell you why. I don't think everyone should be an entrepreneur. And I believe there is a lot of honor in working for a good firm with a strong company culture that values you and is very honest with you, or that basically offers you a nice track for how you may advance in the company. Therefore, if you work for a firm, the first thing you should do is merely look at the existing situation with great objectivity and ask yourself, is there a chance I might earn more money if I added more value to the company? As a result, if you work as a waiter at a restaurant, you simply need to be very practical and accept the fact that there is no space for improvement. With that, you should move back in with your parents for the next 12 to 18 months while you figure things out, or if you have enough savings and runway to support yourself for the next 6 to 8 months, depending on the circumstances. In this situation, I would recommend quitting your job as soon as humanly possible. Quit your employment if it's a dead end. If you have that runway, take the plunge and concentrate entirely. Now, if you find yourself working for a business with greater development potential, the first thing you should do is reframe the work you're doing and always sort of anchor it with your employer. The problem is this. If you edit or make thumbnails for a company, for instance, you know that one is a commodity that is essentially just content, whereas the other requires you to attach a ROI. As a result, you constantly need to state things like, hey guys, I improved the CTR of the thumbnails, this amount, and that led to more eyeballs, which inevitably resulted in X amount more money. For instance, if you work in sales for a company, never ever discuss your commission with your employer or how much money you're making. Alternatively, if you're a continual anchorer of the old edits compared to the new edits and you know what it accomplished for retention, don't say, oh, I'm making $3,500 a month when asking for a raise. I would really like to be making $4,500 or $5,000 per month in a sales position. Instead, simply disregard that. Talk about how much money I brought the company all the time. I made you $70,000 last month if I make this much money, and tell you to be the boss. Can I earn a small performance incentive if I make you $100,000 and I reach that goal? So how does that actually motivate me to reach my next objective? You must realize that positioning is crucial, and you frequently need to persuade your own employer and company of the value that you add to it. They really have no reason to actually offer you a raise unless you do it and consistently anchor the value that you bring to that firm. And the second thing you can do, if you work for a legitimately respectable business, is to go straight to your employer and ask them, "What is my salary cap at this company, by the way? Do you think I'll advance to other positions? What is my potential earning capacity at this present position?" Just be really honest with each other and try to acquire a solid sense of the situation and your potential for advancement inside the organization. Keep in mind that your companies currently stink for the 98% of you who have jobs. They're bad, they don't respect you, and there's no place for you to develop. Therefore, I only wanted to offer that advice because I didn't want individuals to believe that starting an online business was their only alternative. You have another choice right here, but please be understanding. If you work for a corporation where you are aware that the ascension path they have laid out for you is 20 years, your options are limited. I understand that for some individuals, $250,000 a year is a lot of money. I'm not trying to be rude here, but it would take 20 years to make that much money working for someone. By the way, I'm speaking to those who despise their jobs. Who cares if you earn $50,000 a year and truly enjoy your work in the workplace environment? That is much more satisfying. But is that for those of you who despise your job and can't see a viable alternative? There is no greater option than launching an internet business. You should concentrate on launching an internet cash flow business that has extremely high margins and takes the least amount of capital to get started. Let's go on to the third step now. So you are saving, you have your saver hat on, you know you're living, I won't say frugal because I hate that word, but you're living more deliberately, knowing that by cutting back on your spending now, you'll have more money to spend in 3, 4, or 5 years. Then, by framing things appropriately in your existing employment or by creating an online cash flow business, you attempt to optimize your earning potential. You need to invest that money as the last and most crucial stage. You can do the first two things, and you can do them very effectively, but you will still fall into the rich group rather than the wealthy one, and, to be perfectly honest, the objective here is wealth, not riches. You can withstand storms if you have wealth. I completely understand if some of you think this is intimidating or that investing is otherwise difficult. When I was 18 years old, 2 years after really launching my firm while still in high school, I had earned my first $1 million in profit here, and I was where you would consider rich. However, I was undoubtedly not wealthy because I lacked solid foundational support and had investment goals. And it took me a whole year of reading and procrastinating because I kept thinking, oh, maybe I'll get into it then, and I can tell you honestly, it's not that terrifying. Simply keep it simple, then. Simply using DCA, or dollar cost averaging, is by far the finest thing you can do when you first start investing. Therefore, choose a few of your favorite asset classes and just as DCA into those on a weekly or monthly basis. Whatever you want to do, period. There are many different asset classes available, so you have a lot of options. My best advice is to look at the ones with the simplest on-ramps. They question how fiat money, your dollars, pounds, euros, or whatever, can be used to purchase that item. So, if you have pounds, euros, dollars, and other currencies, you should use them to purchase an investment property, especially if you're getting a mortgage and such. It's not the best place to start as a novice because it requires a little more expertise, comprehension, and might be intimidating for some people. And you'll need a lot more money for it nonetheless. Stocks and cryptocurrencies are the two I've discovered to be the most user-friendly for newcomers. The beauty of it is that both of those have already been heavily hammered. Those have already decreased significantly. At the end of this year or in the first half of 2023, I predict they will be even lower down. Even yet, if you purchase at these prices, you will do well if you consider a 5 to 6 year trajectory. The two assets where starting dollar cost averaging is the simplest are by far cryptocurrencies and equities. You know, you can put $100, $200, or whatever you can afford each week into various asset classes, and as you're doing that, you're also coming up with innovative methods to save more money so you can invest more and raise your income. By the way, if your annual income is $35,000 and you're giving up $150 a month for Starbucks to do this, once your income reaches $100,000, or let's say you even manage to double it by starting a side gig, creating an online cash flow business, etc., feel free to splurge on your Starbucks once more. The crucial thing to remember is that you should save/invest between 50 and 80% of your income. That is the law. By the way, if you earn $30,000 a year, it will be very difficult to save and invest 80% of your income. As you earn more money, that percentage should rise. If that's the case, it might be challenging for you to save and invest more than 30%. Because of this, it's crucial to follow step 2 and increase your income. So you reach a point where you can live a nice lifestyle, you stop pinching pennies, and you stop feeling like you're really missing out on things even if you're investing a lot of money, you know. These are the 3 steps. As I previously stated, they are not simple, but they are simple nonetheless, which is frustrating sometimes because everyone seeks out a unique hack as well as a unique method, trick, or tactic. In many cases, the simplest solution is the one that truly works and gets the job done. So keep things basic. There is a tremendous chance to take advantage of. Keep it growing. I'm here to support you.